Hey guys, what's up? It's Trunks again. I'm over here at Fulmen Morte today. They went up for a random spin 40 versus 40 match against Just Clash Maui. Before we get into the war recap, as you can see, they won 108 to 106, 92.2%. Destruction on their side to the 91.03 on Just Clash with Maui. If you guys want to, you can check out Fulmen Morte. Here's their information. You can go to their website, apply. These guys are a Fair Play Clan, part of the War Whales family. They are in the CWL Mid-Season League. Got some big stuff going on over here for these guys, so feel free to check them out if you'd like. They got a bunch of other clans within their family as well that are in the top names as well, and they are on the rise. As you can see, for this war, getting into it, they had 2 Town Hall 11s on Fulmen Morte side, 10 Town Hall 10s, 3 9.5s, and the rest out of the 40 versus 40 were Town Hall 9s. On the Just Clash of Maui side, they had 4 Town Hall 11s, 9 Town Hall 10s, 0 9.5s, and the rest were all Town Hall 9s except for the bottom base. It was a low waiter. But still, it was a close match in the end. As you can see, Fulmen Morte did pretty good work on the Town Hall 9s, clearing pretty much all of them. I think there was a few that were left standing. But at the top side, they did some work on the Town Hall 10s, coming up with a few Town Hall 10 versus Town Hall 10 triples. I'm going to be bringing you those in a separate video. They also had a few dips from the Town Hall 11s, take out some of the Town Hall 10s, and they were able to 2-star to the Town Hall 11s and get a single star on 2 of the remaining Town Hall 11s. On the other side, Just Clash with Maui, they were only able to get single stars on the Town Hall 11s. They got 2 stars on most of the Town Hall 10s, were able to get a few triples. I believe those were dips from the Town Hall 11s. And then on the Town Hall 9s, they, as expected, pretty much cleared most of the 9s, if not all of them. Looks like they actually did clear all of the 9s, but struggled a little bit up top. Getting into the recap now, we are going to start off with number 6 from Sebastian taking on Rain. He's going to come in with some Suicide Heroes and use the advantage that he has those level 4 Hounds and the level 7 Loons to go ahead and get the 3-star on this base. He starts off in the bottom with the Queen and a Giant to tank for the Queen, so that way she's able to step up and take out this Archer Tower. He sneaks some wall breakers in down at 6 o'clock, so that way the King will redirect. Follows in the King and the Grand Warden with some bowlers, and he's going to come straight in to take out the air defense, and he's going to go in, also get the Clan Castle out of the way. It's a Hound and a Loon, no spoiler. But then he will also get down this Inferno Tower, uses the Grand Warden ability, and pops the Barb King ability, so that way they will get in there and drop that Inferno Tower. The Archer Queen goes down and clears out some of the trash. At this point, he begins to start his laloon portion of the attack down at 3 o'clock. He comes in with the level 4 Hound and a group of Loons and a haste behind that. Brings in the second Hound to go ahead and keep tanking while the first Hound gets ready to pop. Follows that in with some additional Loons. Then he comes in at the top. I believe he was going for the sweeper on the freeze and not the Inferno, since he had so many Loons left standing. But he goes ahead and trails in a third Hound with some backside Loons. At this point, he drops a Archer down at the corner to lure the Hound and the Loon away, so when these pups start to come out, they will not target and make that Hound pop, which is very smart. The level 7 Loons go ahead and start tanking through the final Wizard Tower as the pups start to clean up. He drops a few troops that he has at the top to go ahead and get that cleanup. The Hound starts heading over that way, but at this point he's got too much already on the map to go ahead and clean up this base. We'll put it in ×4 as he pulls out the Town Hall 11 dip triple, which are very essential in these types of wars. The next attack we will take a look at will be down on some of the Town Hall 9 action. As I said, I'll bring you the Town Hall 10 versus Town Hall 10 triples in a different video, as they were doing some pretty good stuff over here. So we're going to take a look at number 14. We have Raisin Smuggler taking on Carry. He's coming in with a Queen Walk mass hog attack on this one. He starts off with a baby dragon down at 5 o'clock to just do some trimming. Looks at this, he wants the queen to walk up towards the 12 o'clock area. He drops a single loon in to go ahead and lure out that clan castle, so that way he's able to deal with the clan castle outside of any defenses on the queen. He gets the poison down. Since there are 2 Valks and a baby dragon comes out, which is the anti-queen walk clan castle, he's able to get that down once he pops the ability. As the queen continues to walk, he starts trailing in a wizard up at the top to go ahead and help the queen along by getting down some of those buildings a little bit early. The queen continues to do her little walk, and she will eventually step up and take on the enemy queen and go ahead and get her out of the way. He drops a poison down so that way it slows down the queen's attack speed and puts a rage, since he only brought 3 healers on the queen to keep her up. Trails in the Barb King, and he begins to start working up top as the queen continues to clear out some of the buildings on the bottom. Queen steps up with the Barb King, he pops the ability, and they go ahead and do work on that Barb King. He recognizes that there's actually, with this cannon down at 4 o'clock still standing, the queen could potentially walk south, so he gets some hogs in there very quick before she drops that clan castle. That way she continues to walk back up and supports the Barb King while he is working on the town hall. He brings in all the hogs, or a good portion of them coming from the bottom, has a heal down on the first area for the potential big bomb spot, gets a second heal down on the wizard tower and big bomb spot, as well as the bomber tower. And then he has one final heal to take on the Tesla farm on the backside. He trails in the final hogs up top as they begin to take out the rest of this base. The queen's still standing, steps up in the end and helps the hogs along. The healers eventually switch over as the skeleton traps are working on his hogs, but at this point it doesn't matter. Once the healers step over to him, he has the cleanup working down at 6 o'clock, and he does some quick work on this base to finish it up for the 3-star. Next up, we're going to take a look at number 16. We have your typical queen walk, and he looks like he's going to come into a golem bowler charge into the base and finish up the last portion of the base with the laloon. He's able to see that he can get the queen to step up and take out an easy air defense right off the start. He sends in that hog to tank for those wall breakers, so that way the queen will walk in and actually have access to another 2 air defenses and take out that bomber tower as well. He's able to lure out the CC, gets the poison down, puts a rage on her to keep her health up. The poison will pretty much take care of the loon and the wizards and the minion, so the queen only has to focus on the baby dragon. She does work with that and takes it out pretty easily while she's under rage. Begins to step up and step into this area to work towards the other air defenses. He drops a golem down at 6 o'clock with a few funneling wizards. Drops another rage on the queen in the core as she was taking on both Expos and the Barb King. He ends up wall breaking in down at 5 o'clock, and he follows in with the golem, bowlers, and the Barb King. Gets a jump down to connect over to the queen compartment. As the queen is still up, he drops a 3rd rage to go ahead and rage those bowlers and Barb King straight up so that they will take out the queen. Both Expos are on the queen, so she is tanking that very easily, so the rest of his troops are able to get in, do some work. He pops the Barb King ability in that core of the base, so that way it goes ahead and rips through the rest of that core, and he starts his laloon portion up around 3 o'clock with the first hound. Queen steps up, takes out that Tesla, so it gives him nice pathing for his loons to stay up top, all in the group. Drops a haste to get him into that first air defense and another hound, so that way it stays up and tanks through the final portion. He has a hound and what looks to be about 10 loons still standing in the end. Both heroes of full health. Bowlers, wizards all working to come in with a single cannon left. He's got the cleanup working on all sides of this base, and at that point it is done. We will ×4 it. The next base we will take a look at will be another Town Hall 9 versus Town Hall 9. It'll be number 37 man taking on Deadly. He is going to be coming in with a Shattered Golem with bowlers following in and the Royals. He's able to take a look at this base and realize he has pretty good access to 3 air defenses with a single jump and potentially the 4th. He has a laloon portion with a small few amount of loons, probably for the backside to take out the 4th air defense if it does not go down. And then he has a handful of dragons that he's able to bring in. Most likely when you see these types of bases, if all the air defenses are on one side, you can easily take them out and have dragons come in through the top. But he starts off with a nice wide funnel, gets the bowlers in behind with the Royals, gets the poison down on the clan castle, pops the king ability where the jump is placed so that way he's able to take out 3 air defenses and have access to that. The bowlers and the queen are all working. He starts the dragons up at 12 o'clock as they are going to work to step in and take out this queen at the top side. The queen steps up and is working in the core. He's got 2 golems still standing in there, and he starts the laloon portion on to the back side for the final air defense. Gets the rage down as the dragons step up and take on the queen, so that way they do quick work on her. The loons and the hound pops and the loons finally step up, take out some of the Teslas in the core of the base. He's got 4 dragons still standing and the queen working in the core of the base. He's got 2 golems beaten on a wall, but he's got the cleanup down at 6 with the bowlers and the pups cleaning up that base. He drops a few minions in the corner to get rid of the builder huts, and at this point he's got 2 dragons standing. He's got some golems to step up and tank for those dragons as they make their way around to the base. He's got bowlers working on the outside, cleaning everything up. With only 2 air defenses left, get some pups up in there to tank. He's able to step over there. Has a dragon was still standing with full health with only 1 Tesla. That's pretty much game over for this base. Next up, we're going to take a look at number 28. We have what appears to be a Penta coming down with a Suicide Heroes. There is an air defense close to the outside with the Queen and the CC all in range to be lured out and taken care of on the outside of this base pretty easily. He drops the Queen out of range of that Wizard Tower, so she's able to step up, take out those heavy storage buildings before even stepping in and taking any damage. Queen hops over the wall and he drops the Barb King down, so he goes ahead and pops the ability, takes out that Queen pretty quick, and has the Barb King working on getting that Barb King down. Lures out the CC, has a poison down, gets the Queen ability popped, so that way she is able to start working, taking out majority of that clan castle. 1 baby dragon still lives, but he's got enough defense to take care of that baby dragon once the hounds pop. Comes out with a max hound first, so that way it'll take the most damage from the air defense towers first and pop the soonest. Follows him with some loons with a haste, raged through the core to get those other loons into those final buildings. Brings in 2 more hounds from the top with some trailing loons on those. Haste those in so that way they get into that air defense pretty quick. Then he comes in with some backside loons. He's got 3 hounds still standing on that last air defense with the haste down to get them over to that last air defense. He has a heal waiting for the loons to come over the Tesla farm so that way they will stay up. Trails in a few more loons on the backside. They soak up some of those air mines that are down there. Trails in a few more to get on the last few arch terrors on the backside. We have the pups working on the cleanup. He's got a group of about 10 to 12 loons and a hound, 2 hounds still standing. He's holding that last loon. I believe there was actually a troll Tesla up in the top corner of this base that he gets down that last loon on. But at this point, all of the defenses are taken care of. And he goes ahead and gets the last loon down. Actually, there was no troll Tesla, but he gets it down for the cleanup. So that way the loons have the shortest path to follow around the space for the cleanup. Go ahead and times 4 this as he comes in with the pentalaloon. Next up, we are going to look at number 30. We have Tri-Feed taking on You Got No Chance. He 3-starred this base, so obviously had a pretty good chance. He's coming in with the mass minion attack. This was probably one of my favorite attacks that I watched, coming through the whole thing. He starts off with the queen up top, puts some healers on her. He's going to go ahead and do a queen charge into this base. He has a few minions working at 3, create that funnel. Drops the Barb King down to go ahead and push that queen right into the base. He's got a baby dragon up at 12 o'clock, taking out some of those bigger buildings. He recognizes there's no point defenses that can target it, no air defenses up at 12, so that baby dragon is going to get huge value for him. Drops in some wall breakers, goes ahead and gets that base open as the queen does some work. The Barb King going down the side, taking out the trash of the base, and making it really easy so when those minions decide to come through that base or through that portion of the base, there's going to be nothing for them to get caught up on, and they're going to go straight into these towers down here and start working on them. Drops a rage down to keep the queen up as she's working in the core. Pulls the CC, gets down 2 poisons on them. Queen's working now, gets down 1 air defense, walks over, starts working on taking out that wizard tower farm. Barb King gets pretty far down to the base, all the way to about 6 o'clock, where he is able to take out a good portion of the trash down there. Gets a jump down in the core for the queen, so she's able to step up, start working on some of these sweepers, and finish off those wizard towers. He brings in 2 hounds, 1 max one out of the clan castle with some loons, and here comes the mass minion portion of the base of the attack. Goes ahead and starts trailing in some other loons, which is a smart idea because the loon will go in first, soak up the air mines that are there, and it'll allow the minions to continue to work behind the hound and start taking out this base. Second hound finally pops. Queen steps up and takes out the last air defense as his group of minions comes in. He drops in some more loons so that way they get out in front of the minions and start soaking up those traps. Queen steps up and gets taken out by the minions. He has the loons tanking for the minions now on the backside. Queen's still standing with healers on her and the ability in hand. He's got a few minions and an archer for cleanup, but at this point he has so many pups and minions left on this base that it is completely wrecked. He pops the queen ability to go ahead and start getting the cleanup taken care of faster. Finishes his base with a solid 3-star with the mass minion attack. Last attack that we are going to look at is going to be number 39. Originally, when I saw this attack, it was the mass baby dragon. I thought, oh, this guy is coming in with the level 30 archer queen. He should be able to step up and take this base out. Then I watched it again, and I realized he actually has no Barb King. So he relies solely on the queen to take care of a good portion of this base, which is pretty strong. Fast forward a little bit just to get through the beginning of this base as he creates the funnel and gets the rage down as the queen is taking on the clan castle. A witch pops out, but the queen is able to work through that and go ahead and take this witch out and then step up. He quad quakes so that the queen is able to walk into the core of the base and will have access to the enemy queen and all 4 air defenses with the straight path. Since the funnel is created, he gets the wizard down to go ahead and help the queen move along faster. Has a baby dragon down on starting from 4 and actually working its way down towards 6 for cleaning up most of that trash on the outside. Queen starts to approach into the base. On these mass baby dragon attacks, you're going to keep the baby dragons spread out, and they have their own rage effect, so that allows you to focus all of your spells on keeping the queen up and making sure that she gets in and takes out all these air defenses. He trails in a few baby dragons around the base to start trimming and helping that queen, so that way she's able to get into the core of this base and get those air defenses down faster. Queen steps up into the core, gets the second air defense down and a Tesla. He trails in a max hound on the backside to go ahead and start tanking on this air defense and get some of those traps out of the way. As the queen's working, he gets a few baby dragons to come in behind so that way they can start cleaning up some of the trash. The hound pops and just starts working on creating distraction. That queen's bouncing all around in the core of the base, and he has a final rage waiting in hand for whenever he needs it on this base. But the queen steps up, takes down the 3rd air defense, and finally gets over there and takes down the 4th air defense. At that point, he starts just trailing in all of the baby dragons, for the rest of this base. He's holding a Rage in hand. Queen ability still there. Baby Dragon in hand. He's got wizards that he starts dropping on these corner builder huts to go ahead and take them out. Few minions. Troll Tesla up at the top where he gets the final Baby Dragon down on that. Still holding that Queen ability and Rage in hand to swag at the end. At this point, guys, this was the war recap for Fulmen Morte against Just Clash with Maui. As I said, if you want to check out Fulmen Morte, here's the information again. If you made it this far in the video and you like what you guys have seen, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'm going to have more recaps coming from Archer Outlaws as well as Fulmen Morte, and I'm going to try to bring you guys some other content. Leave me any comments if you guys want to see anything specific, and I will try to get back to y'all with some other stuff.